for March by Jamie Kimball. Why do leprechauns like to recycle? So they can go green. According to the Department of Energy, we use 80 to 100 gallons of water a day. Let's say on average we use 100 gallons of water. Take that times 365 days a year at a cost of 1 cent a gallon. We would be spending $365 a year on water. Going green can save us energy, time, and money, and I for sure like to save on money. Let's look for green in three areas of our homes: our bathrooms, our laundry rooms, and our yards. Let's start our savings in the room that carries the biggest amount of waste: our bathrooms. Do you realize you can be flushing $100 down the toilet each year? Our toilets is the biggest consumers of water in our homes. The EPA recommends a low flush toilet that uses 1.6 gallons of water versus the old standard toilets, which uses 6 gallons of water. You wouldn't think this 4 gallons made that much of a difference, but the EPA did a study. If you have 2 people in your household and they flush 3 times a day, you could be flushing $131 down the toilet each year. And that number only goes up with the amount of people in your household and the amount of times they flush. Not only if you switch these low flush toilets will you be saving money, you could also be saving water. The amount of water you could save would be the amount of water that flows over Niagara Falls in 2 weeks. Let's see if our toilets are functioning properly. According to the National Research Defense Council, an article written by Andrew Postman, he recommended the dye test model. This dye test model is simple. All you need is this Easter egg dye and put it in the back tank of your toilet. You wait 15 minutes, and if your toilet bowl has water in it, your toilet is leaking water. You are wasting perfectly good water that is going down the toilet for no reason. Another thing he recommended is don't use your toilet as a trash can. How many of you blow your nose and throw it in the toilet and then flush it? Every flush costs money, so make sure they count. Now that we have learned how to save money in our bathrooms, let's move on to one of our dirtiest rooms in our homes, the laundry room. Here are some tips to save you time and money in your laundry rooms. For our washing machines, it is always good to pre-soak stains. The reason because of this is because it allows us to have shorter washing cycles. Another thing that's good to use is using cold water, which can save on our heating bill. The EPA recommends using detergents with the HE symbol on it. The reason because of these detergents is because they work much more better in colder water. Now that we have talked about our washing machine, let's move on to our drying. It is always good to dry our clothes outside on the late summer days because they help on the AC. Another thing the EPA recommends is using wood or rubber balls. These allow more airflow to go through your clothes in the dryer and allow shorter drying time. Lastly, the EPA recommended cleaning our filters. Now I know a lot of you are like, wait, I already do that every time I dry. But the EPA says our dryer seats can put film in our dryer seats can use films that put on our dryer filter that we can't grab out by hand. They recommend using toothpaste and a toothbrush to scrub those extra dust bunnies out of our dryer filters. Now that we have learned how to save in our laundry room, let's move outdoors to where money really does grow on trees. Trees, bushes, they can help with our heating and cooling of our home. During those cold winter nights, they can protect and break the wind from our house. And during those hot summer days, they can cool it with their trees and shade. According to the National Research Council, it is better to plant native plants in the area. They require little or no watering at all. Another great tip for watering came from Home and Gardens TV show. They recommended watering at the roots. Now, how many of you fall short and actually water the leaves? Don't worry, I do it too, but it's always good to water at the roots. This allows more nutrients and water to get to the source of the plant. Another thing they recommended is watering on those cool parts of the day. I know most of you are thinking, well, shouldn't I water during the heat of the day? I mean, that's when the plant really needs it. No, The plant needs it when it can get the most water out of it. During those hot parts of the day, most of that water evaporates, and so the plant doesn't get as much as it could on those cool parts of the day. The last thing Home and Gardens TV show recommends is planting wildflowers. The reason because of this is wildflowers require less water than grass, and they are much better for our gardens and our yards. According to the U.S. News Journal, an article written by Luke Martin and Kimberly Payment recommended mulching. The reason for mulching is it allows moisture back into our soil. It is always good when you are mulching to mulch as a donut shape instead of a cone shape. And the reason because of this is because the water, if you're watering or it's raining, the water will run away from your plant, and which is not good. The last thing they recommended is watering once every other day or once every other week. Do not water every day. And the reason because of this is because a lot of plants die from root rot a year, and we do not want that. We have learned how to save in 3 areas of our home. We have learned how to save in energy, time, and money. We've learned how to save in our bathrooms, how to save using low flush toilets, using the dye test, and using only flushing when you have to. For our laundry rooms, we learned how to save for our washing machines of pre-soaking loads, using cold water, and using detergents with the label HE. For our dryers, we learned to dry outside if possible. We learned to use wood or rubber balls, and we learned to give a deep cleaning to our lint filter. For our yard, we learned the importance of trees and bushes for our home. We learned that it is better to plant native plants to our area, and we learned the importance of watering. It always is the importance of watering at the roots, watering in the cool parts of the day, mulching our gardens to keep the moisture in it, and to water once every other day or every other week, because we do not want to cause root rot. Going green is going to save us energy, time, and money. So let's not only wear green this month, let's save green this month. Thank you for listening.